Nikki. I'm in the English department, specialization in creative writing. I was director of the creative writing program for 6 years. And this year I'm teaching graduate courses in fiction and teaching of creative writing, and then undergraduate courses in the novel and the short story. It's nice to be here.
Eric, you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, Eric. I'm in cinema and media studies, and I did graduate work in two different fields in comparative literature and also in German, so language, literature, culture. And I happen to be made my way to a cinema and media studies department. So I'm excited to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
You, Eva?
Hi, everyone. I'm Eva Cherniavsky. I'm also a faculty member in English, and I'm the director of graduate studies. So I do admissions every year. I have been doing this. This is my 6th year in the job. And I also teach the introduction to issues and methods of graduate studies. It's a job I really love. Working with graduate students is incredibly rewarding. So very happy to be here with you all.
And Nancy?
Hi, I'm Nancy Sisko, and I've actually held a number of different positions over the years in English, and I was director of student services for both English and CMS for many years, and worked with Ariel in the Humanities Academic Services Center for a while. And now I get the pleasure of teaching again for, it's been a while since I've been in the classroom, 5 years. And I've loved it. I've loved every minute of being back in the classroom. So I'm also very excited to be here. I've talked with a lot of students over the years about applying to grad school.
I will introduce myself and pass it to Sia. I'm Ariel. I'm the advising lead here with Humanities Academic Services. Happy to be with all of you, but I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Sia to introduce himself and get us started.
Thanks, Ariel. Hi, everyone. My name is Sia, and I'm an advisor at the Humanities Academic Service. Thank you all for being here today. And to get the panel rolling, could you please share more about how did you choose your program? And yeah, what did you do when you went to grad school?
Should we?
Oh,
sorry.
Go ahead, Nikki. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Eric, please.
Kick it off I mean, just speaking personally, I came from a family where it was, you're going to go into business or you're on your own. And so that kind of made the decision easy for me. So went on my own and I went to graduate school in a field that I love, comparative literature. And I went to the only place where I received funding. And it happened to be University of Washington, long time ago. So not the academic intellectual reason, you might have been searching for, but the honest one for me personally.
Yeah, my search for graduate schools was a little haphazard. I was the first person in my family to go to undergrad even, so there wasn't a lot of conversation about what even a graduate degree in the arts would mean. I think everyone thought it was kind of frivolous in my family. But then I applied to 3 institutions, did not apply to what I would consider the kind of elite schools for creative writing, partially out of a sense that I would be rejected, which I should have tried anyway in retrospect, obviously. But I applied to LSU, Emerson College, and the University of Alaska Fairbanks because I had spent a summer in Alaska and loved it. And I decided to go to Emerson College, went there. This is kind of an interesting kind of wrinkle to it, I think, is that I went there for a semester and decided to transfer as a graduate student. So then I decided to turn graduate school into a little bit more of an adventure and went to Alaska where I received my degree. So, and it was also about funding to some degree, right? That was, I was lucky. If I had tried to apply to like University of Iowa, I probably wouldn't have gotten funding, but because I was applying to the programs I did apply to, I got funding at all three to varying degrees. So that I was lucky in that respect.
Yeah, it's been so long ago, I have to reach back to remember this. So I finished my undergraduate degree actually in comparative literature back in the day. And I took some time off. The last thing I wanted to do, quite honestly, was to go on to graduate school. I really needed to be out of school for a while. And I had various fantasy notions that I was going to work a day job and write and read and think and do the things I care about in the evening. And I discovered the hard way that when you're working 40 hours a week, you don't have a lot of resources left for that kind of work. So the romance of that wore off pretty quickly. And I applied to grad school, honestly, because I can't say that I had a very set notion. I knew I wanted to do work that involved thinking that brought me to something I care about. And so I gravitated back to what had engaged me as an undergraduate. And that's how, yes, and actually I'm old enough that back in the day, there was no funding at any institution. There was just no funding for PhD programs in English, certainly. But I ended up going to the one institution where I was able to land a teaching job teaching a foreign language I knew. So I also was ultimately driven by funding concerns.
That's so interesting.
I had an undergraduate degree, double major in history and theater, and my intention was to continue in theater professionally. And I did for a while and found that what I really loved was directing and doing the research on the literary works and the historical background and costuming. And so I actually went on to get a PhD in literature because I thought I wanted to be a dramaturge. And when I got into a program, I actually fell in love with teaching. I mean, fell deeply in love with teaching. And so that really just completely shifted what I thought I was going to do, and ended up getting a PhD not in, literature, meaning theater literature, but so that I could go on to teach and work at the university. And also my decision was entirely made based on what funding was available as well. And there were a couple of places that I applied to, and I tell students this when they're applying to graduate school, to research what they're interested in connection with which faculty are available at that institution. I was turned down at an institution that I really thought I was qualified for, and had spoken about a faculty member that I really wanted to work with. And I had no idea that faculty member had moved on that summer. And when I reached out to find out, what I could do to, strengthen my application, they said, we don't have anyone here who can work with you. So it would be a disservice to you for us to accept you. So I like to have those stories to tell students that I think are still helpful today. Yeah.
Can I add on that one? Because I think it's a very important, I've seen lots of nods. I think it resonates, and it's important to take away. And then kind of different perspective, having sat on a graduate admissions committee for the past 9 years, this is in cinema media studies, we openly talk about the fact that, let's say you do know, let's say like in Nancy's case, like that person is there. Okay. Even if that person is there that you say you want to work with and so on, that's not enough anymore. We no longer have a luxury of having like an individual student. So we actually only progress people through our application pool, if they are talking about multiple different faculty. They can, because we have to work together. We have to all be able to take classes from each other, serve on committees together. And so that would be my add-on, is not only do you want to do your homework and make sure, there's kind of the right fit there, but I honestly strategically would not put my eggs all in one basket. I would say, in doing the homework, I can see myself working in this, and I'm interested in that, and so on. The whole faculty, this kind of thing. And I'm exaggerating just not too much, actually. Yeah.
If I just say, I would absolutely just everything you both just said. I'm in the middle of doing admissions work right now. We want to be sure that there is a cohort of faculty in our department who can support you. And the reason for that is things happen.
Yep.
You change direction. The thing that is front and center might not be front and center. Also, faculty are human. They leave, they go on medical leave. Sometimes they pass away, right?
Yep.
I went to graduate school with someone who had come from Ireland to California to study with someone. And unfortunately, this person passed away while he was on the plane in transit coming to. So there are real disadvantages. Like, it would be irresponsible to admit you if there's just the singular person that you can work with. So I think that's absolutely right. You want to look at the full list of faculty, what they do. And if you can't identify at least 3 or 4 people whom you feel that you have a kind of robust connection with, then that may not be the best program to apply to.